Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is nice and cool in your little slice of South Louisiana heaven this day. I left Tuesday, got home and had the expressed intent of coming back today and ripping the Louisiana legislature a new one. I was fired up. I was ready to go. And then I saw a story that, while it does not in any way, shape, or form exonerate the Louisiana legislature, it's more a case of a self-inflicted wound. Let me start with the old adage that many of you have a distorted view of. The old adage of what I am referencing here is commonly called Murphy's Law. Many people are of the opinion that Murphy's Law says if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Wrong answer. The true Murphy's Law says if in fact something can go wrong, it will pick the worst possible time to do so. For example, Tuesday of this week, the blower motor in my vehicle goes out. So the air conditioner works, but it won't blow cold air. So as long as I'm moving and it's not on recirculate, just the mere presence of air going through the system will put out a little bit of air conditioning. But it doesn't blow. I leave here Tuesday, jump on the interstate to head home, and what should have been a 20-minute drive turned into an hour and 45 minutes on the interstate with no air. I erroneously thought at the time, because dialing up the traffic reports, they were talking about an accident on the new bridge, the Horace Wilkinson / I-10 bridge. Only to find out later on that the real culprit here was us. According to the Department of Transportation and Development, DOTD, a huge downpour of rain, 2 inches in 45 minutes caused the problem. Not because there aren't sufficient drains on the bridge to handle the water. The problem was the drains were all clogged with litter. If you know anything about drainage, don't keep it clean, don't keep all the litter and garbage out of it, it slows down the flow of water. So all this water that should have drained off the bridge now backs up onto the interstate. An hour and 45 minutes for what should have been a 20-minute drive. No air on the interstate. Now listen, y'all. I get it. There are people in Lafayette, Lake Charles, Alexandria, Monroe, Shreveport. There are people all around the state that say, well, Clarence, I'm sorry for you, bruh, but that's not our problem. You know, our leaders made sure that we have a bypass around our city. Our leaders made sure that they got funding for another bridge. I feel for you, brother, but that's not my problem. Well, here's the problem with that line of reasoning. Do you have any idea how many goods and or services were delayed getting to Alexandria because of what happened in Baton Rouge? Do you have any idea how many hundreds of thousands of man-hours of productivity were lost in Alexandria, Lake Charles, Lafayette, other parts of the state because of what happened here? The old adage, no man is an island, applies here. And just imagine, if you will, had we been in the midst of an evacuation, because it is, after all, hurricane season. Now, for the record, I still hold the Louisiana legislature mostly the blame for this, because at the end of the day, their job is to make sure that things are done to facilitate commerce in our state. And when something like this happens, due in large part to the simple matter that we don't care enough about our state not to trash the place. You know, I understand many of you are not outdoorsmen. You're not sportsmen. I get that. And I understand as a result, many of you have never experienced sunrise on the bayou in Louisiana. You've never been out with that gentle rocking of the boat, looking at the cypress knees, watching that mist rise up as the sun comes up. I get it. Not everybody has experienced that. But nothing ruins the experience more than Coca-Cola cans floating in the bayou, Shiner bags floating in the bayou. And it's such a simple thing. You know, life is a funny teacher. I had, and I know many of you will argue, and that's okay. That's your right. That's your prerogative. I had one of the best scoutmasters of all time, Alvin Hollins Sr., and he was a stickler about making sure that when you left the campsite, it looked better than it did before you got there. Meaning, in other words, not only are you responsible for discarding the trash that you generated while there, you're also responsible for making sure that any other trash that was there when you got there was removed along with yours. You know, in an ideal world, I could simply say, treat our state like it's your house. But with many of y'all, that's the problem. You treat our state just like you do your house. I'm not a betting man, but I'll take odds on this. The guy or girl you see flying down the interstate with trash blowing out of the back of the truck, the guy or girl that you see sitting in the parking lot of the big box retailer, the window comes down, bloop, they drop a bag of trash on the ground. I'm not a betting man, but I'll take odds that their house looks just like the parking lot. And the fact of the matter is, if it only affected you, well, that would be one thing. Can you imagine the CEO of a Fortune 500 company lands at Baton Rouge Metro Airport because he's here to scout out a location to expand his business? We did pretty good last year. You know, we're looking at expanding operations. Okay, well, I hear the people in Louisiana are friendly folk. I know they got great food, lots of culture and history there. Why don't we go check them out? You get off the plane, driving around to scout locations, and the first thing you see is all this ungodly amount of trash everywhere. I don't know about you, but if I'm that CEO, what it says to me is, good God, these people don't give a you-know-what about where they live. There's no way in God's green earth I'm going to ask people to move to a place where the people there don't care about themselves. Y'all, we're better than this. We're better than this. The entire freaking city ground to a halt because apparently some of y'all don't have enough sense to put an extra bag in the car so that when you generate trash, you put it in the bag and then put it in the garbage can when you get home. Y'all have heard me say this before. There are so many things in life that are totally and completely beyond our control. Try as we might, as hard as we can't do anything about it. This is not one of those instances, y'all. It's not. This is something totally and completely within our control. The only question is, are we willing to do better? First break of today's show. By now, I'm sure you've probably heard the Biden-Harris administration, they're coming to the rescue on gas prices. Yeah, right. Wink, wink. We'll talk about that when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The Mazda CX-50. Confident on- and off-road performance and intelligently designed utility inside and out.
The all-new Mazda CX-50 has arrived and is on sale right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Buds Show. It is no earth-shaking revelation to you and yours regarding what gas prices have done to the wallets of our fellow Americans. We have heard from the Biden-Harris administration finger-pointing ad nauseum. We've heard that, well, it's the refinery's fault. And we've heard, well, it's the oil company's fault. Now we're hearing it's the gas station's fault. Just yesterday from the leader of the free world. We've also seen, I hesitate to call them Band-Aid approaches to a bullet wound, because even a Band-Aid would make more sense than what we're getting out of the Biden-Harris White House. Remember when the White House made this big deal about the oil that they were going to release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? Remember that? And what happened? Prices went up 18 cents a gallon. So obviously, that didn't work. So now, the hot topic is, oh, I know, let's suspend the federal portion of the gasoline tax. It is amazing to me the number of people that work for the federal government or some federal agency, and they have absolutely no clue whatsoever when it comes to economics. CBS News, and for those of y'all wondering what that's about, CBS, all you got to do is listen to them or watch. And very soon you will see it's BS. CBS News did an analysis of what this would actually mean to everyday Americans. So they got in touch with the Congressional Research Service, nonpartisan group. They just look at policy and interpret what you can expect. The Congressional Research Service says that in 2020, if there had been no federal gas tax at all, the average family in America would have saved $163 over the whole course of the year, or $13.58 a month. Now, I don't know what you drive, but $13.58 will get you less than 3 freaking gallons. And this is over the course of 90 days. But by God, we feel your pain and we're going to do something about it. You know what's really ironic here? You know what's really ironic? Think back, for those of you that can, to 2008. And of course, we know who was president then, and we also know who was vice president then. I'll refresh your memory. Barack Obama and Joe Biden. At the time, they were floating the idea of suspending the federal gas tax. You know what then President Barack Obama called that idea? A, quote, gimmick. Something that would do absolutely nothing to solve the problem. The guy that he spent 8 years serving with called it a, quote, gimmick. Oh, by the way, it gets better. At the same time, they also, the media, ran to Nancy Pelosi to find out what she thought about the idea of suspending the federal gas tax. You know what she called it? Showbiz. Nothing of substance, just something to make people think we're doing something. You know, God bless him, my late father. With every passing day, I appreciate his wisdom more and more and more. And at the end of the day, I don't know about where you work, but if there's something, policy, procedure, what have you, and it's not only not working, but it's making things worse, how long are you going to remain there if the leadership continues to pursue these insane policies? You know, watching all of this unfold, I never thought I'd say this, but I feel sorry for people like Jen Psaki and her new replacement, Karine Jean-Pierre. I feel sorry for these people for about that long. The first thing that pops to mind is watching these people flounder. You have to ask yourself, somebody that would take the job of being the White House press secretary, as horrible a job as they've done on every freaking issue out there, someone who would willingly take that job, you got to wonder about their level of intelligence to begin with. If I'm auditioning for a job and I say to myself, okay, what am I going to be up against? Well, probably going to get questions about the Afghanistan withdrawal, supply chain crisis, inflation, crime, southern border, baby formula crisis, all these things, the first thing I'm going to do is ask myself, okay, are there legitimate answers for these problems? We have yet to see any of them come out of the White House. Who in their right mind would volunteer for this job? I mean, it's one thing if you live in a communist country and in the middle of the night, there's a knock on the door, you come and be my press secretary, and there's nothing you can say about it. But to willingly take this job? Now listen, y'all, I get it. It's a resume builder. Who in my line of work does not want to have on their resume press secretary for the President of the United States? Who wouldn't want that? Well, if the president's name was Joe Biden, you probably wouldn't want that. But it gets worse. It gets much worse. Have you all seen this woman? Every single question that comes her way, first order of business is this. She has to find the page that the answers are written on. And after she finds the page, she reads the talking points verbatim. So much so that she can't even look up at the reporter or the camera or the American people while giving these BS answers. I guess that answers the question of what kind of person volunteers for this job. But you know, when you sit down and look at it for what it is, you come to a very, 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 very disturbing conclusion. I'm heading into a break. But in this next segment, I'm going to spend some time on the topic of they don't care about us. Now, typically, when someone says they don't care about such and such, that's one of those things that only two things can quantify. One is impossible, and that is getting in that person's head to know exactly what they're thinking. The other, however, is more telling. All you have to do is look at what they do. I'm going to give you proof positive when we come back that the Biden-Harris administration and the Democrats and liberals in general, they don't care about us. I'm talking Americans, not just conservatives, your fellow Democrats as well. Let me get this break out of the way. We'll talk about that when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you were not with us heading into the last commercial break, you may not be aware of what the tease was for this segment. It is under the banner, they don't care about us. You know, experience is the best teacher. When you have gone through something, you know better how to deal with it than simply opening up a book and reading about it. Because after all, you've been through it. And there are certainly things in life that real life experience is so much more valuable than what the old folk used to call book learning. You've also, I'm sure, if you've gained any amount of wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom, there's a distinct difference. You understand full well that you can find out a lot about people by not listening to what they say, just watch what they do. If you think about every single issue that the Biden-Harris administration has encountered since taking office, every single issue they have failed miserably on. The withdrawal from Afghanistan. Is it possible, Marty, to give a F minus? Is that such a thing? Can you give a F minus? You go with G. Okay, there you go. Inflation, F minus. Gas prices / energy independence, F minus. Southern border, invasion, F minus. Crime exploding, F minus. Baby formula shortage, F minus. And the list goes on and on and on. But here's the rub, my fellow Americans. Here's the rub. Every single one of these problems that they failed miserably trying to fix, not a single one of them was a problem until they took office. Now, you can make the argument, okay, well, stuff happens in life, Clarence. They didn't foresee this coming, didn't foresee that coming. So, it's understandable that they would encounter some things that, we hadn't seen before. Okay, let's follow that rationale, shall we? Every single one of these problems was not a problem until you came in and changed something. So what that says to me is that, okay, we've got a problem. It was not a problem before, which means apparently something changed to make it into a problem. So therefore, all we have to do is go back to doing what we were doing before we took office. Remember, as a kid in grade school, you were given strict guidelines on schoolwork, homework, etc. And for a while, you adopted this new stringent policy. You studied as much as you should have studied. You practiced penmanship, instrument, whatever, as much as you should have practiced it. And what happened? Your grades got better. Then your parents said, okay, maybe he's earned a little more freedom because he is now studying more, he's practicing more, he's more serious about what he's doing, so maybe we can give him a little freedom. So sure enough, you get the freedom. Next grading period, your grades go back down. What'd your parents do in a situation like that? You know what mine did, and I know what yours did. They put you right back to what you were doing before the problem manifested itself. Here's how you know. Democrats / liberals / the Biden-Harris administration, here's how you know they don't give a damn about you. Every single one of these problems was not a problem until they took over and changed something. Now that it's become a problem, how many of these things do you think Democrats / liberals / the Biden-Harris administration, how many of these problems have they come before you and said, we thought we were fixing this, but actually we just made it worse. But since we care about America, what we're going to do is we are going to reverse the policy and go back to doing what we were doing when it worked. That question was rhetorical. You don't have to answer. We all know. Not a single thing on any issue have they reversed course. Now, they'll get in front of the camera and they'll tell you how much we feel your pain. They'll get in front of the camera and tell you how we were so hurt that American families are suffering. And yet, you continue the same foolhardy policies over and over and over again. I don't know about these folk, but when you tell someone how much you love them, when you tell someone how much you care about them, when you tell someone that I feel your pain, aren't you supposed to do something that shows you get it? If you haven't figured this out yet, I don't guess there's a whole lot I can tell you to change your mind. But you'll think about it every time you pull up at the gas pump. You'll think about it when you stand in that checkout line at your favorite grocery store and you go, whoa, wait a minute. This didn't cost me this much last time. Not only is it costing me more, I'm getting a hell of a lot less. What's up with that? You'll figure it out at some point. Most of y'all. The rest of you, on all the problems we've seen unfold in the last 18 months, none of them were a problem until the Biden-Harris administration took off. None of them were problems until they came in and changed the government's policy. Not only did the situation not get better, it got worse. And not once have these people come to the American public and said, oops, my bad. We thought we were going to make it better, but this policy really sucks. And y'all see it because you're paying for it every day. So as a result, we're going to change the policy and go back to the way it was before we screwed it up. Now, you do know why that is, don't you? You know why. For them to do that, they would have to acknowledge Orange Man was right. They would have to acknowledge that Donald J. Trump was right when he pushed for energy independence for this country. They would have to acknowledge Donald Trump was right. We need to do something about crime, not bail reform, not defund the police, not all that kind of foolishness. But to change policy, you have to, even if it's only tacitly, admit Orange Man was right. And these people, y'all, would rather see you suffer. These people would rather, and yeah, I said it, them folks, these people would rather see millions of people enter this country illegally, drain resources, drive up rent, drive down wages. They would rather millions of folks come in here and make your life more miserable than to admit that Trump was right. Go down the list. Every single problem that they have created and or made worse because of their policies, not once have they said, this policy is hurting Americans, we need to change it. And the bad news, as if that weren't bad enough, they're not going to change unless you make them change. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. We don't know whether or not today the highest court in the land is going to rule on Roe v. Wade. We do know, however, that the Supreme Court announcing today that they voted 6-3 that the regulations imposed in New York regarding making it unnecessarily difficult to get a concealed handgun license violates the Constitution. The existing standard had been in New York that officials had the determining say in whether or not an individual could be granted a concealed carry permit, saying that if all you wanted to do was to protect yourself or your property, that's not a good enough answer. You need to be able to cite a specific threat. So if you live in a high crime area and you have to catch the subway home, you get off the subway, you walk through this high crime area. Self-protection, according to the laws of New York, was not a good enough reason for you to have a concealed carry permit. It was fairly easy to see this coming if you stayed abreast of the case. During oral arguments, Justice Brett Kavanaugh posed this question: why isn't it good enough to say I live in a violent area and I want to defend myself? Great question, Justice. Great question. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. And the Constitution specifically prohibits any intrusion upon that right. Self-defense. What other reason do I need? You can probably set your watch by the outrage that's going to come from the left. They'll get over it. There'll be something else to come along and hurt their precious little feelings before the day is over with, so they'll probably forget about that. And, of course, with them being the individuals that they are, they probably, if they don't come to the realization, soon as they get robbed in their own city, then maybe they'll see the wisdom of the court. But I digress. We're still waiting to see if and when the Supreme Court will issue the long-awaited ruling on Roe v. Wade. Personally, I think it's past time. Go ahead, whatever it is, get it out there. Let's digest it. Let's move on. But that's just me. What can I say? If you are about to get out and about today and you've not been out of doors as of yet, yeah, it's out there waiting on you, son. It's waiting on you. The second you step out the door, you will realize, yep, South Louisiana in the summer. First day, we are expecting triple-digit temperatures, not heat indices, just actual ambient temperature. So you know what that means, right? Hopefully, y'all took your buddy Clarence's advice early in the week and you started the hydration process. Many people think, okay, I'm going outside to do whatever it is. I need to drink a lot of fluids before I go out. Well, the human body doesn't work that way. It takes a while. So ideally, knowing these temperatures were coming, hopefully you started hydrating early in the week, because to do it the morning of is not going to help you all that much. I mean, it will, because obviously it's more fluid than you had prior to the morning. But again, for any extended period of time, to combat that, the body needs advance notice. And while we're talking about it, we're in that danger time of summer right now, y'all. Kids and pets left in cars. It is one of those things that you would think by now, with all the tragedies we've seen occur, we would not have to go through this exercise every single summer. But here we are, having that conversation yet again. The elderly also need our concern in that regard. I think back to my late grandmother and how growing up in Eunice, Louisiana, didn't have air conditioning. Never got used to it. Wasn't that big a deal. As a matter of fact, when we would drive up from Baton Rouge to Eunice in St. Landry Parish to go and visit her, she knew what time we were coming. So about 30 minutes before we pull in her driveway, she'd go down to the living room and turn on the air conditioner, because she knew we were going to fuss. Momo, you in this hot house like this all by yourself? Oh, child, that don't bother me. Now, I would need an entire segment to talk about how soft we've become. Marty and I had that conversation earlier this morning. But folks were built differently then. They were built differently, pure and simple. And technology is a wonderful thing until you become dependent upon certain aspects of it. And then all of a sudden, when that rug gets yanked unceremoniously from beneath your feet, you know what happens after that, right? So, y'all, this is the time of year. And actually, it's twofold, now that I think about it. It's hurricane season and it's summer. So the most vulnerable among us, our children, our pets, the elderly, they deserve some extra attention this time of year. It is one of those things that can't do anything about it. God knows we can't. We can, do everything within our power, but it still many times comes up short. So we're left with no alternative but to deal with it. But when all is said and done, you can pretty much bet there's always someone out there that cannot do for themselves. And that's where, my fellow Louisianians, we excel better than anybody I've ever seen. Let's carry that over and do our part. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Old School Barbecue is where we tape the show live every Tuesday and Thursday. Come on out. We'd love to see you. You never know who you're going to see when you walk through the door. It might be Uncle Roy, might be Kevin Gallagher, might be Marty, might be Roger Cador, might be TK, might any number of people. You never know who you're going to see when you walk through the door. Come on by, meet some great people, eat some great food, and as we are fond of saying in South Louisiana, pass a good time, all at the same time. It is real easy to find, real easy to get to, unless there's a problem on the interstate. Wink, wink. Hopefully, I won't have to deal with that going in today. All that being said, y'all, my time's up, and you know what that means, right? Yep, gotta go. But this day, probably as much as any other, maybe more so than many. I give it to you. You know what? You're right. America, we are not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you do realize by now that he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Best news you're going to get all day. There ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you soon. God bless.